Hey, how about some more minutes for Mamu?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. Just go to any place, seriously. Anywhere you get your favorite podcast, you will likely find Locked On Spurs and the rest of the Locked On NBA Network teams. Just the Locked On Network itself. Yes, go subscribe to all of the shows provided at the network. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. So those of y'all watching on YouTube, you know what we're going to be talking about. But for those who are not, we're going to be asking the question, minutes for Mamu. Should the Spurs give him more minutes, considering the not-so-great start to the season? And just a lot of just bad vibes going on right now. Maybe Mamu is the energy they need to kind of get things going on the right road. Then we're going to get into fan comments. It's been a while. Yes, I know. We haven't talked about you guys, Locked On Spurs fans. We're going to dive into that. And then last segment of the show, it's back, everybody. Spurs Merch of the Month. We got some great merch that I think you're all going to love to go get, whether it's online at the Spurs website or at the arena or at the Victory Capital Performance Center. You're going to like what the Spurs are offering you fans. So let's go and get things going. He is back, everybody. Matt Guzman. That's right. He is back, everybody. Make sure to follow Matt on at MattGZMAN. Again, he writes for Spurs on Sports Illustrated. And he'll talk about what he's working on later on the show. But Matt, you are here for 2 segments, so let's dive into it. I know you're a busy guy, so let's get to it. By the way, everybody, before we proceed, just a heads up, this is recorded before the Spurs-Blazers game. It happened yesterday, so keep that in mind as we move forward. But nevertheless, you know, Matt, you're hearing Spurs fans scream this from the mountaintops. Why isn't Mamu out there? Get him out there. What do you got to lose? He's energy. He's hustle. Why are you not throwing him out there? Lately, though, under interim head coach Mitch Johnson, you were seeing Mamu get in a little earlier. But where do you stand on more minutes for Mamu? Yay or nay?
I've gone back and forth, because every time that he's taken the court, the time that he's been here, he's brought an energy that's, almost Sohan-esque, which is, we'll have to talk about him in a second. He's just a guy that can come in and give you some instant offense that can energize that team, whoever's on the floor. And so at the moment, I think I'm pretty yay on getting Mamu some more minutes. It's an interesting dynamic because he tends to be near the bottom of the depth chart, and he has been since he's arrived here. But at the same time, he's proven time and again that he can be a big impact player. If he's used the right way, if he starts hitting his shots and gets to his spots. So they've gone back and forth on whether or not they should. I personally think that I don't think it hurts anybody to give him some more minutes,
right?
Especially because in the games where he's gotten the most minutes, he's contributed. He's scored double figures twice this season already, and those are the 2 games that he got double-digit minutes. So he's making the most of his minutes. I think it's just a matter of cracking the rotation over somebody like Zach Collins.
Yeah, 2 names come to mind. One you mentioned, Zach Collins, and the other Devin Vassell, and now you can add a third one now, Sohan.
Right.
Those guys injured. And by the way, yes, did not play against Portland. The Spurs announced that yesterday. That leaves Zach Collins, and that's for the rub. You go on social media, you can hear Spurs fans just scream from the mountain as well. Get Zach out of there. Put in Mamu. That's what you're hearing.
Right.
But as far as Mamu's concerned, I think, yes, I do lean towards get him more minutes, but don't give him starter minutes because
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't. Yeah, that's where I. Throw him out there. You got nothing to lose. As of this recording, they're 3-5 on season, and you're looking at what he's doing far. So he's only played 6 games again ahead of the Blazers game. They're giving him about 8 minutes a game. He's averaging about 5 points, 3 rebounds, and he's shooting 56% from the 3 line. Now, granted, he's only taking about 1.5, 2 shots a game, and he's making about 1. So he's not in a big volume shooter from the 3 line. But that's where Spurs fans see the benefit that he's able to spread the floor. We were hearing that from interim coach Mitch Johnson. What is he talking about, Matt? Spacing, spacing, spacing.
Right.
Well, the Spurs don't have that many spacers away from the basket. That's where I think Mamu could make the biggest impact. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so too. And the difference is between him and Zach Collins is Collins is not a floor spacer. We see him working on those corner threes almost every time we're in the gym. But he's not a great shooter. He can't really space the floor in the way that Mamu can. But at the same time, his skill set is more like it's geared more toward that of a traditional center. And so when you have somebody like Victor on the floor who's playing that role of power forward, or that positionless big, you also and when Jeremy is healthy, it makes more sense why Mamu might not get more minutes because Jeremy is playing that traditional power forward role.
You're right.
While playing more of a big man role. So he's kind of in this weird limbo stage because he can bring floor spacing, but he's also a big. He's not a true guard. He's not a small forward. And so, it's one of those things. He definitely can impact the floor the most in that way because he, in the preseason, in summer league or preseason, I say, we saw that he was able to make his 3-pointers when he gets to his spots. He shot the ball well. And I think, to your point, that is where he can best impact the game. And I think if he stands a chance to get more minutes, not starter minutes, I do agree with that, but just more rotational minutes, it's going to be during a time where Jeremy's out because he'll get a chance to kind of fill in for that power forward role in the time that Zach Collins is off the court.
Yeah, exactly. And we look at his per 48. And I know some fans don't like the per 36, per 48, but it is it does reveal something. So his per 48 minute stats are pretty interesting. So at that point, he's just from three line nearly 55%. Now at the per 48, he's taking about 9 shots a game. I don't know if Mitch Johnson or Pop are going to want Mamu taking 9 shots a game, but there's something there. The metrics show that he can be effective from the three line, and that's where the Spurs need the biggest help. And frankly, I just think they need some toughness out there, and this guy's tough. He'll mix it in there. He flows better with the Wembanyama. We saw that to close last year. We've seen flashes of it this year. So that would put that at point number 2, why you give him more minutes, because he meshes well with Wemby. Wemby needs cutters. Wemby is going to want to pass out. They seem to get one another. Wemby's been having a subpar season so far. It's crazy though, Matt, because he's not doing the highlight dunks and all this crazy stuff. But you look at the stats, you're like, oh, he had 15 and like that, But it's not been the Wemby what we saw last season. Nevertheless, I think that could help Wemby maybe jump on the right track, is having a player out there that he feels comfortable with and Mamu feels comfortable playing with him. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, I think all season long, there's been something missing from that offense. And, Victor, like we said, he's doing these highlight dunks. He's showing that he's this elite talent that, never before seen. But, from the start of the season, he's been without Devin Vassell. Then a few games in, they've had no Trey Jones. Now Jeremy Sohan's going to miss extended time. It just seems that, he's on the cusp of finding himself a little bit more. He's kind of shaken off some of that rust from the beginning of the year. And I think somebody like Mamu would be cool, would be nice to put in and give him some minutes and just to kind of give Victor a familiar face that, like we said, can cut, can make, plays alongside him as opposed to needing the ball in place of him.
Victor's pointing at you right now, Matt, on the screen. Now you see that he's pointing at you. Right now. You know what? That's a good point there. I know, but nevertheless, it's just he's so intriguing because he's tough. He knock down the threes. He meshes well with Wemby. The Spurs are needing bodies out there with Sohan and Vassell out. Collins has kind of been erratic, to say the least. So why not give somebody who can make more positive impact on the game? Now, even Sean Elliott mentioned it during the game. You catch it. What does Sean Elliott ever say during broadcast? Every time Mamu's out there, something positive happens. Every time Mamu's out there, something positive. He repeats it over and over and over again. And he's right. Mamu does bring out kind of a better side of the Spurs that I think they lack. We saw recently against Houston, just a debacle. We had to use the S word, soft. They just did not step up. I think if they had just thrown Mamu in a lot sooner in the rotation, perhaps that would have stepped it. He hit threes and whatnot. But look, I'm not saying the season's over by no stretch of the imagination. It's not. It's completely not. But at this juncture of the season, what do you got to lose? You got everything to gain. There's the morale of the team. Maybe it took a hit with Pop out, and of course losing Jeremy, and then not back yet. You don't have your secondary floor general Jones. He's been out. So why not throw somebody out there who could bring life to this roster? Now, Matt, if let's just say Mitch Johnson is hearing lockdown Spurs right now, because you know what, Matt brought a good point up. I want to highlight something that you said with me. You agreed with me that he should not get starter minutes.
Right.
What would be a good amount of minutes for him?
Well, I'm kind of looking at his game log here, and it seems that, he played his most complete game last night. They gave him 15 minutes. He had 7 rebounds, a pair of blocks, and 10 points. There's been a couple of games throughout the beginning of the season. He only had 6 or 8 minutes, and he did well on the boards, but he didn't get a chance to find an offensive groove and get some points. So, I like that number. That the only other time he's gotten double-digit minutes was against Utah, and he notched 10 points in 11 minutes. I think that 11 to 15 range, I think 20 might be pushing it a little bit, but if he gets anywhere from 11, 12, 15, even 16 minutes, it seems that he's going to be poised for a 10-point performance, or he can get you 5 rebounds, pair of blocks, and I think that's honestly, I think those are the kind of minutes that he should be getting. If he does well in those minutes consistently, because he's only had 2 instances where he's gotten those kind of minutes. If they give those to him consistently and he continues to show what he's been showing, then you up those minutes and you just let him see how far he can run. There's no reason, like you said, there's nothing to lose, especially with these players still out. When we have everybody back and when we're looking at this roster like very complete, and okay, maybe Mamu is going to be pushed a little bit down now that we have Vassell, or now that Jeremy is back. But I think right now there's no reason not to give him more minutes, to give him that chance, because when he has gotten that chance, he's done well.
We're done with Matt Guzman. Make sure to follow my next at MattGZMAN. He writes for Spurs on Sports Illustrated. We continue our chat about Mamu, then get into some of the fan comments in just a few minutes. Yeah, you guys are leaving a lot of comments, and I got a lot to catch up. It's like an inbox. You haven't checked your email in weeks. That's what it feels like when I look at the comments. I was thinking like, Matt, maybe we should talk about the fans. It's been a while, but one thing I do want to talk to you about right now is PrizePicks. Hey, let's talk about PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Right now, you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get on the action in sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks invented the flex pay, which means you'll still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Hey, look, PrizePicks is fun. It's simple. You'll enjoy having the experience of playing the game. I know I do. You will too. And yeah, download that PrizePicks app right now. Go use code LOCKEDONNBA and get yourself $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNBA on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. You want to go to FanDuel.com right now. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So much when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You just got to go to FanDuel.com right now. Speaking of FanDuel.com, look, the NBA season is also around the corner. Spurs fans, time to have some fun with your silver and black on the court. The app is very easy to get, very easy to use, user-friendly, very intuitive. Make your picks, 1, 2, 3. Bet on parlays, bet on win spreads, totals. I mean, seriously, you can have so much fun with sports this sports season with FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sports book. You just got to get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Yeah, you'll get started with that. And when you place your first $5 bet, you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Another reason why you got to go to FanDuel when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com right now, America's #1 sportsbook.
This is Emilio Rivera, El Padrino for the Mayans MC. You are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Matt Guzman. He is on X at MattGZMAN, and making me look bad right now. I'm all dressed in sports clothes, and he's all looking nice and dapper. Got a chain there, hair, everything. Man, Matt.
I was gonna say, I was gonna wait for you to notice the jacket because it's I've had this.
Oh yeah, let me check it out.
Let's see. It's jacket actually with the Spurs and on the back.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
nice.
So I've had it for years. It's finally getting cold up here in Missouri.
Yeah,
so it's time to bring out the bigger layers.
All right, cool. Hey, you know what? Unfortunately, you can't stay around for a merch one. That would go really well, but nevertheless, man, that's a great jacket you got there. We're talking about Mamu. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, we're talking about Mamu. Should get more minutes, and then get into some fan comments in just a few seconds. So let's go to wrap up chat about Mamu. Earlier I brought up about his per 48 and all that good stuff, and I know they're inflated and maybe not a real measurement of what he can do, but you look at what he is among the NBA ranks him as a big, like a forward center kind of guy. He among other players at that position, so the forward center thing, he's second in 3-point percentage, 13th in 3-pointers made. So that's where he could be the most effective there. The numbers show it. He is a guy that's going to spread the floor. Spurs desperately need that. They cannot make shots from the 3 line to start the season. It was obvious that this team lacked 3-point shooters, but there is one guy out there at least can keep defenses honest, and that's Big Mamu. He looks very confident in the shot. He's taking them, he's making them, and even if he misses them, he doesn't let it rattle him. He comes back, takes another shot. But overall, yeah, I think a lot of Spurs fans would agree with you, Matt, that it's time to let Manu. I'm sorry, look at that. I'm thinking about Manu. Mamu.
Manu is still balling out there.
He sure is. But it's time to let Mamu off that bench and get him some more minutes. And who knows, maybe that could start trending in the right direction. It looks like it is because Mitch Johnson so far has put him in a lot earlier in the games, not necessarily when the games are out of reach or in either direction. The Spurs are ahead or positions ahead. So that's a good sign. And I think he's ready. I think he's ready to take that next step. He keeps repeating over and over again. You've been in that conversation with me. I'm ready. You put me in. I'm ready to go. So why not let him unleash? But I was trying to see, Matt, if there's any bad side to giving Mamu more minutes. The only thing you can think of is your depth in the second unit takes a bit of a hit because he can't come out there with him. And then that's about the only thing. I can't see anything else that could be an issue. What about you?
I mean, if we had Jeremy, if Jeremy was good to go, then that'd be a little bit different because now you're talking about a disparity in minutes. Who gets those minutes at that spot? But I mean, if he's not going to play for a couple of weeks at least with this surgery, I don't see any. I really don't see any downside to giving him some more bench minutes. Because as is, they're a little bit depleted. But when Trey Jones gets back, that's also a big boost for that secondary unit. And so it just becomes about who's ready to step up. And if that's Mamu in some of these, if he's going to start getting more starter first unit minutes during the not starting, but if he's going to get some reps with that first team or get some bigger minutes, and who steps up behind him, who's ready to kind of come off the bench and provide that spark that he used to do. It's just a matter of who's ready to step up and when they're going to get these pieces back healthy.
I thought he's just a turnover machine. He's not even that. He doesn't even average a turnover a game. Now, granted, it's a small sample size. He doesn't get a lot of minutes out there, but 0.8 turnovers. That's it.
Now, something I did notice about his stats that was interesting. Every game that he's attempted a shot, he's made a 3. There's 2 games where he didn't shoot at all, but every game that he's shot, he's actually attempted field goals. One of them at least has been a 3-pointer, and he's made it. So, I mean,
Matt, at this point, is I'll take it, even if he makes 1. Some sort of spacing out there. But we'd like to hear what you think. Should Mamu get more minutes? You can let me know on the YouTube side of things over at the Locked On Spurs YouTube page, and then let Matt know on his X at MattGZMAN. All right, Matt, it's time to dive into the fan comments that, just a bunch of Locked On Spurs fans are leaving over the YouTube page. There are tons of them. That's my fault, everybody. I hadn't looked into the mailbag in quite some time. So we're only going to pick 2. Wish we could get everybody's, but we just don't have the time. All right, let's go ahead and go in the first one. Okay, here we go. Any, mini, money, mo. That's going to be good. We're going to go with Frank Santini, 49.90. Matt, he says they, the Spurs, are still very young. I believe, without saying it, they're putting too much on Wemby. He's only 20 years old and learning. They're down and out, and the mentality, because of the mentality for the injury. So I think he's trying to say they're down and out because of the injury situation to everybody, Pop included. What do you think about that comment? Thank you, Frank Santini, for the comment. Do you believe that the Spurs are putting too much on Wemby's shoulders?
I don't think so. I think that, that kind of viewpoint, or I guess that angle, looking at the pressure and the expectations that he's facing, I think that's all generated from outside of the organization. They look at this player who's 7'4", who can put players on a highlight reel night after night, and they expect him to be the savior of the youngest team in the league last year. And then he comes back for year two, and they're like, okay, great, it's year two. We've seen what he can do. Now he's going to get even better. And then it's even more of an expectation that he kind of turns around the franchise. I think as far as everyone inside the organization, I mean, they know that, he's still young, he's still developing. They're not expecting to make a championship run right now with Victor. They just want to see how he develops. They want to put pieces around him to help him thrive. Players that have experience that we've seen so far in Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, and then younger players who are taking steps up. We haven't even seen Victor with Devin Vassell yet this season. I think that nobody is worried about his personal level of expectations. I don't think he's really worried about the expectations or the pressure that comes with it. I really do think it's just generated from outside, where it maybe seems like those are the expectations, but inside they're just doing their thing. They're staying in their lane, and they're working on developing their players.
Yeah, and he knows that he is their cornerstone piece, and he's in. But I don't think they're giving him a lot of pressure. You don't see that many plays. I mean, obviously most of the plays are called for him, but it's not like Tim Duncan, where almost every play got called for him.
Right.
It's almost spread out. You'll see Castle attack the thing out there. You'll see Mamu taking shots. They're not completely deferring to him on every position. And I know Spurs fans would love that to happen, but it's not Duncan, where almost every play was referred to him, Tony or Manu. And you're right, Frank. He's still 20 years old. He's doing his best he can, and I think, I think there's high expectations. I don't think there's any pressure for him to be that guy. And look, Pop even said it too when they drafted him. He said, like, he's going to be Wemby. We're going to go at his own pace. He's going to develop on his own path. So this is not too surprising. So good job, Frank Santini. We appreciate it. The next one is from Vince Mata, 5588. He says, Jeremy is vital to the Spurs' defensive rotation. His presence will create a hole. His toughness and hard-nosed defense, put that in all caps, by the way, has elevated the team's defensive rating. Vin, 5588, losing Jeremy was rough. The guy was having an MIP, most improved player kind of season. Just going to talk about that. Sohan's absence. Now, a friend of Dr. Ryan McCorkle, he texted me because I had asked him, like, hey, what's your medical opinion on this? He's projecting worst case scenario 6 weeks away, best case scenario 3 weeks away. Either way, it's a long time without your defensive, one of your defensive anchors is out to the number one guy. So, how massive was this for the Spurs?
Yeah, absolutely. It was huge. Before this injury, like you said, the MIP, that word is huge. He was on pace for something of that nature because, last season he was definitely kind of spread too thin, trying to play point guard, trying to recover here and all that thing. But this season he's gotten a chance to really go back to what makes him comfortable. That's playing the power forward position, and he's thrived. And so, to see him go out with an injury, especially after a string of games where, he was putting up 15, 16, 17 points, he was really contributing. It's tough. But at the same time, it makes this stretch of games without him, a little bit more. They're not bigger moments, but it's a chance for the Spurs to say, okay, well, maybe we can really take this time to recognize the value of Jeremy, because, they can figure out how he really complements that defense when he's not there. And when he comes back, they can plug him right back in, and they can kind of get rolling again. And the hope is at that point, they'll have Vassell back, and they'll have Trey Jones back. And so, I think that it was a huge loss for them, but at the same time, this is a chance for them to kind of assess where they are without him and kind of figure out, is what we were doing with him before good? Do we need to increase his workload when he gets back? I think it's a chance for them to kind of evaluate themselves at the same time.
Absolutely, and I also think too the ripple effect outside of just the defensive numbers, and then think about it. Pre-Sohan injury, this team was ranked high in defensive categories. Seriously, defensive rating, they were top 5 or top 10. The point is, they were really doing well on the defensive end. Offensive side, no, that's a whole other story. But defensively, they were locking teams down. The other ripple effect too is just the impact on Wemby. Wemby's gonna have to up his defense. It's almost flipped, because usually on offense, what are you saying? Oh, the Spurs need a complementary offensive partner for Wemby. Could it be Devin? Should they chase trade Young or marketing? But on the flip, it's actually Sohan that's a complementary player for him on the defensive side of things. He's the one, Sohan, that's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure defensively, able to defend 1 through 5. I'm pretty sure Wemby can definitely do that too, but Sohan was adept at that. So I think that's just a hit on Wemby too. Wemby's going to have to really up his defense, and the rest of the team has to. But you're going to see the team lean on Wemby a lot more to cover some mistakes that maybe Sohan could cover, mistakes that maybe that Wemby couldn't see. It's just a massive loss. Your final thoughts on that?
Absolutely. It's been great to see Jeremy play. It's really tough to know that he's going to be missing for a few weeks. But like the friend of the show, I think the hope is that it's not going to be this crazy extended amount of time. The idea is to kind of bring him back when he's ready. It's a thumb injury. It's not anything crazy in the lower body, or so I think the hope is he can come back and get back to doing exactly what he was doing. Because he really has become that complementary piece to Victor Wembanyama. The two of them, and adding somebody like Steph Castle, just it speaks levels of what this defense can evolve into. And I think this was really just the beginning of that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So hopefully Sohan won't be away too long. But knowing the Spurs, they're gonna spur, and they're gonna say, "Oh, the medical people said 4 weeks. Yeah, you're gonna set out 5 weeks." So I can definitely see him doing that. So hopefully Sohan will be back ASAP. He did share on social media that everything's fine, his surgery's over, and he's just now on the road to recovery, coming back to the court. Hey, Matt, we gotta let you go, but tell us what's going on over at Sports Illustrated / Spurs, your side of things. What you got cooking?
Yeah. Well, I got a chance to speak to a bunch of the people in and around Riley Minix, including his mom.
Nice.
A little tidbit I learned about him that I'll share now is that apparently his first word as a baby was ball. So he's kind of always known that he's been a basketball player. So it was great to talk to her. I've got a good feature coming on him soon, so you can look forward to that.
There you go. And where you can find it is going to his, which is Matt GZMAN, which you see it on your screen right now. If you're on the YouTube side of things, Matt, again, we always appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs, and looking forward to reading that Minix article you got cooking for all Spurs fans to enjoy. Hey, we're not done talking. When we get back, it's merch of the month. Yes, what is out on the shelves for Spurs fans to get? Think you're gonna like it? I know I like it. I might be even wearing it. In the next segment. But that's coming up next. But first, I want to talk to you about SKIMS. What are your usual complaints about underwear? Is it comfort, fit, shopping for it? Is it just guesswork or whatever it is? Look, even though I wear underwear every day, I have not switched up the type of underwear I bought since college. For those of y'all who haven't heard, SKIMS now offers men's underwear. I'm here to tell you it is worth the hype. It'll become your favorite type of underwear. SKIMS has the fabric that'll make you feel comfortable. It stands out, heads above the rest. You should choose SKIMS underwear over other brands immediately. Look, for example, I feel like at this point I've tried every boxer brief in the game, but nothing ever fits just right. I think we finally have a winner, guys, and it's SKIMS. They came out with their cotton 5-inch boxer brief, and it honestly puts other brands to shame. They hit it right at the thigh and stay there, and that's key. They don't move around. They don't bang out. They just give you that comfort. They don't give you that 5 p.m. wedgie. If you're a boxer brief guy like me, this is the one to get. Yes, SKIMS. You want to shop SKIMS men's at skims.com. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show, Locked On Spurs, in the drop-down menu that follows. And if you're looking for the perfect gift for the whole family this holiday season, Skims just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com. Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have it all. Great menu, cold drinks, hot drinks, coffee, the signature drink, Mudslinger, iced lattes. Pick something you're craving, they'll have it. Check out the menu. We're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs and a proud community member, serving San Antonio the best coffee in the city. Go there right now, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have the Lightning Bolt series, which includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. Got to try it. Speaking of which, hey, they have these drinks, like I was mentioned right now, the Lightning Bolt series. They're going to be containing Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts. That gives them flexibility to create new drinks. But if you want Red Bull, you just tell them and they'll put it in there. But the default will be Lotus Energy. Go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They even got mini donuts. Best spot in the city to get yourself some coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio. Follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
All right, man, we're back here on Locked On Spurs, and it is time for Merch of the Month. Yes, we have another segment here. This is going to cover the products that you can get either at the Spurs online shop, or if you're in San Antonio, simply going to the fan shop at the Frost Bank Center Arena, or going to the Victory Capital Spurs fan shop. Now, we're going to be highlighting, as y'all can see, the new collab the Spurs have done with Alpine Racing. Yeah, first of all, let me tell you, this football jersey, yeah, love it. Love it. Fits great. Got the Spurs there. I don't know if you can see that there. And then, of course, the racing team's logo there. But, yeah, it is a find. If you can get a hand on this product, go get it right now, whether it's online or, again, you're at home games. So, basically what we got here, we got another item to show. But we're going to start off with this, though. So, basically, this is one of their new era jersey products. You can see we got the label here. The Spurs. And, of course, you got the team name. By the way, this team name right here is embroidered. So, I think that's a very nice touch. And I got the Spurs colors, the black and white. So basically, this collection, again, is produced by New Era. It brings together the two teams, Alpine and the Spurs. And basically, it's just two worlds colliding, but in a good way. You got basketball team, Spurs, and you got a racing team, Alpine. So, yeah, strong competitive drive for both teams mixed into the gear right here that I am wearing, and you should get it too. Now, the Spurs players themselves recently wore these when the Team Alpine was in Austin. I believe that's the U.S. Grand Prix, again, up there in Austin, Texas. And they even did jersey swaps. I think Mamu was wearing them. Just everybody was having a good time. These jerseys, this gear covers everything from head to bottom right here. So you have bucket caps, you got the jerseys, you got jackets. I'm going to show you an image of what the entire collection looks like right here. This is the full collection. See, I gotta get my hands on that jacket there. That one's nice. That starter jacket right there. And of course, you see the jersey that I'm wearing right there. Alpine. See the A for Alpine. Very, very nice collection. This collection was even worn by some of the race car drivers, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. They wore it during the race just recently out in Austin. Again, it's available right now at the Spurs fan shop in the Frost Bank Center, and then obviously at the official Spurs fan shop at the Victory Capital at the Rock. And again, you want to go to spursfanshop.com. We're not done showing off some of the merch here. Take this off, and y'all can see what up's next. Now, we also have a cap. So this is what the cap looks like. Again, pairs well with the jersey. Look at that. Pairs well. Again, you see the Spurs logo there, or the name, and then obviously the Alpine color there. Got that kind of a racetrack looking lines. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Basic there. Thought that was a cool touch there. It has the Alpine logo on the holographic sticker. So this is a great product. Again, oh, look at that. Got the Spurs logo right there. And of course, you got the New Era logo right there. I like this jersey a lot. I really like it. I think this is going to pair well with all your game day gear. I'll put up that image there for you so you can again see the full collection. That jacket, I can't stop looking at that jacket. That jacket just looks nice. Look at that. 90s. When they had the starter jackets back in the day. I was old enough to remember that I gave away pretty much. Whatever those again who are in San Antonio, you got to get this well, basically the entire collection right now. So you can find some pictures for you of some of the people wearing the jerseys. All right, there you go. Yeah, by the way, that's me in the background there, but I was not with Pierre. So just a heads up. So that's the whole gear right there. You can see it just you can't go wrong with black and white, right? It matches everything in your closet. These items are available right now. Again, go get them. I highly recommend it, because it looks cool and it's different. I love the Spurs jerseys. Don't get me wrong, the basketball jerseys, but to have something unique like a collab like this, Spurs and the Alpine logo there, you can't go wrong. This is exactly what you need for your collection right now. Again, this is the Spurs Alpine collection by New Era. It comes, as I showed you, with the flex cap, the jersey t-shirt. You also saw a little while ago the bucket cap, and then that starter jacket. Available right now at thespursfanshop.com or in person at the Spurs Fan Shop at the Frost Center or at the Victory Capital Center at the Rock. By the way, there's an excuse right there to go check out the new fan shop at the Victory Capital at the Rock. Go check it out. I have not gone out there, but I know I have it on my list of to-do things this season to go check out that new fan shop. But there is Spurs merch of the month available right now. SpursFanShop.com. Go check it out. I like this. I might wear this more often on the shows. That looks pretty cool. I've never been one for football jerseys or these kind of jerseys, but I like them. But there it is right there. Your Spurs merch of the month right here on Locked On Spurs. Go get it right now. All right. Well, we're going to put a wrap on this episode of Locked On Spurs. Subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. Pick a platform. We are there. We'll be back next week covering all things silver and black. And yeah, we have a newsletter in case you didn't know. Locked On Spurs has a newsletter. It's in the link below in the description. Go click on that. Go subscribe right now. It's a nice little extra piece, a little extra addition to Locked On Spurs, kind of like a companion piece. Go get it. It's completely free. Go subscribe right now and subscribe to all the newsletters across the Locked On Podcast Network. So for myself and for the guest we just had a little while ago, Matt Guzman, and for this awesome Alpine Spurs jersey, we're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.
Retribution.